Mm-mm.
Here we are.
Are we?
Here we are.
We're live.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are.
Why doesn't it say go live to me?
It,
Why does it say we're live on my end?
Maybe you got your privileges revoked.
Wow, I took them. They're my privileges now.
No, I'm serious. It doesn't say. It still says go live on my side. It doesn't say that we're live. Are you sure that we're live? What is that fucking grin? What are you doing?
I see the 30 seconds live. We got 62 people in right now. Gustavo,
I see we're live. I see live as hell.
Video takeout.
What the fuck? It's my account. I'll get rid of all of your privileges.
Unfortunately, you don't have the privilege to do that.
Well, you watch me. I was gonna tell my story about giving blood, but now I'm just fucking furious. That actually.
CJ, can you mute his mic for me, please, for just a second?
Yeah, he's out.
Wow, just like that.
Executive order.
Gone.
Boom and boom. There, you're both fucking muted. How do you
I'm
like
back.
that?
I'm back quick. Back real fast. All right. Okay.
The story I was going to tell, I had 30 seconds. I had my first physical in like 10 years. So I haven't had a doctor. And she was like, you need to get blood work. So I hate needles, blood. Hate it. 3 days of like anxiety going. I give the blood, whatever. And they give me a call 2 days later from the doctor's office. And she's like, yeah, we're able to tell you you're not anemic, but you declined all the other labs. You refused all the other labs. And I was like, why would I do that? I went there because you told me to. She's like, I don't know. It says you refused the labs. And I was like, well, you have the blood. Can you just do the test on it? She's like, no, you have to go back.
Oh, no.
I was like, you're kidding me. I just sat on the phone completely deflated. And I was like, all right, make the appointment. She made the appointment and I went this morning. There we go. But they took 3 vials of blood this time. So fingers crossed.
I don't mind getting my blood drawn. I definitely don't like looking at it.
Oh, I can't look at it. I do this the whole time. Like that.
CJ looks. CJ is the guy who looks.
I haven't gotten it in a while. They always have a hard time finding veins in me. But
I got veins out the wazoo. You can
it's
find
like
from there.
You see the progress, you know? it's pumping out. You're like, all right, I'm almost done.
I knew it. I knew CJ was a fucking weird.
Everyone that takes blood, when they see that I'm queasy, they look at the tattoos, and I'm like, first of all, I get queasy when that happens too.
Really?
But it's different because you barely even see them when you're getting tattooed. You don't see the needles. So, all right, let's do this fucking podcast. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. And brought to you by BodyBio. Get 20% off any order at BodyBio, E-Lite, Gut Plus, whatever. BodyBio.com with promo code FIRECJ. MortgageCS. Become a MortgageCS Ricky VIP by going to mortgagecs.com/Ricky. Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process. 302-864-8643. And stateside Urban Craft Vodka, the official sponsor of the Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe, statesidevodka.com. I normally have a stateside vodka when I said that, but I am in the middle of my no alcohol for Lent thing. On the show today, the Sixers lose to the Heat. They beat the Heat, and then they lose to the Mavericks in a pretty infuriating game in which Joel Embiid didn't really look like he wanted to be there. But all I really want to talk about is that Paul Reed jumper, to be quite honest with you. As well, there are rumors, again, of James Harden wanting to go back to Houston, and Mike returns to the Ricky. If you're watching on YouTube, live or recorded right now, remember to subscribe. I think the button's right below. Is it below, CJ? I think it's right below. Subscribe. Set up notifications right there. Helps us out, helps you out, because then you get all of our content. Subscribe on YouTube. As well, follow us if you're watching on Spotify. Hit the follow button. Stateside Vodka. I was talking to a coworker about the Surfside iced tea and vodka the other day. Talking about how, I was like, you're not going to believe this. It's like, I know that you've seen these before or whatever, but this one is really fucking good. It's really good. He was like, how many calories? I was like 90, I think 90 calories. There's the regular Surfside iced tea and vodka. There's the peach Surfside iced tea and vodka. There's the Surfside iced tea and vodka and lemonade, and the Surfside lemonade and vodka. All amazing. I can't wait to have one on the night of Live Ricky 5, which will be my first drink in 40 days. Psyched to have one at Underground Arts. Go to statesidevodka.com and no code. Just go to statesidevodka.com. You got to be 21 or older. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
Larry, sweetie, the man is here.
Say the name. I say the name. I say the name.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Say the name. I say the name. I say the name. Say the name.
Likes Tricky Sanchez forever.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who returned to the pod just in time for that one. That is one, Mike Levin. Congratulations and welcome back, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much. I was going to say, can we get B-Ball Paul calling for the ball on a roll in the intro video, but instead I'll say, yes, I did get married last weekend. A lot of funny stories we'll talk about some other time after a less frustrating loss.
Or maybe right after the most frustrating loss we have all season.
Yeah, potentially.
In
Either
five
way.
of
Happy either way.
the second round.
Happy either way.
Yeah. Well, someone tweeted at us. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. I'll go back and find it. This is Spike and Mike's fault for not doing the podcast after the B-Ball Paul game. And that is fair. Miami game 2 of this week. There have been 16 games, Sixers games so far this week, was the B-Ball Paul game. I've never seen Embiid, like everybody else was playing after, back-to-back on the road.
That's
He
right.
did not play in the first game and just wasn't a horrible game from him, but I mean, what did he have? Like 6 or 7 rebounds? I don't know. It felt like 6 or 7 rebounds.
No, he had less, and then he ended up getting 8 because he had like 3 offensive rebounds on one play.
Okay, there you go.
He's just not
Didn't look
good
like he
enough.
wanted to be there.
He's just not a good enough rebounder. Like
Yeah.
over and over again, we see it.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. Yeah, he was just. It was one of those weird. Once in a while, he'll just miss 4 free throws randomly. He'll be like 98%, and then one game will do that. Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's not fully healthy, and that his energy was down, and he was pissed off. You could tell he was pissed off. He almost spiked the ball at the end of the third quarter. Yeah, I mean, I liked a couple things from him tonight. He had 35 on 21. Like, he's still an unbelievable offensive player. He's, had a bad offensive game a couple games ago when he had to be Bill Russell. Just we don't talk enough about how much better his touches got through contact. We talk about the mid range. I think it's just like he's automatic, but he's really both drawing fouls and also like finishing through that contact like softly. It's always very nice. I love when he extends his strides like on those short roll while he like initiates like contact through space the way honestly like Luka does. But then he's obviously 7 inches and 70 pounds bigger than Luka, so the guy goes flying and he just has an easy layup out of it. He's awesome. He's the man. But would be nice if he showed a little bit more consistent. I don't know, less tired, whatever. They're probably going to be the 3 seed, so I'm trying to not. It's almost certain that they're going to be the 3 seed, so I'm trying to be like, well, all these regular season games are just.
They're just going to waddle through these last.
They're going to waddle through
games.
some of them. Yeah. They've been like really. If I wasn't a Sixers fan, they'd be a fun watch.
Yes.
The Memphis game was fun. The Boston game was fun. The second Miami game was fun. I mean, all of it. And this game was like entertaining. The offense in this game was ridiculous, especially in the first half. Was just insane. Watching those guys go back and forth was really impressive.
It was crazy, and this is the only this is the feeling you get when you're watching as a fan of one of the teams.
Yeah,
I was watching it feeling like I only saw Dallas's offense and kept looking at the score and wondering how the Sixers were only 3 points down.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of okay, so I wrote about it in the newsletter that came out today. And it was about one specific play about how if you didn't read the newsletter, you should read the newsletter. You should subscribe to Zoe's newsletter. You should read it.
Rights to RickySanchez.com/newsletter.
That's right. But it was one play in the first Heat game where Cody Zeller caught the ball in a roll and 4 guys went with him. Now, Spike, if you remember, usually a team is permitted to have only 5 players on the court at once. And so 4 of those players that we were allowed to have were going with Cody Zeller. It was the craziest play I've ever seen. And this is the thing that this team does, which is they like send doubles, or not even doubles sometimes, just stand in an area between a couple guys. And they think, well, I can probably get to both. When the reality is they can get to neither. They just dying. Harden is the worst at it. Harden is absolutely the worst at it. PJ Tucker is the second worst. It's just like dying to stay in no man's land where you're not helpful on the roll and you leave your shooter, you're the guy you're supposed to cover, wide open for 3. It's happened all season long. It's been the worst season of it I've ever seen. Harden did it tonight to Reggie Bullock 75 times. It's just over and over and over again where it's like, you're not going to break up a lob to Dwight Powell or Maxey Ksebe. You're just going to be near him. And if you're not there, then you're just going to give up a wide open kick 3 to whoever. It is truly the most frustrating thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm past being able to be like funny mad about it. And now I'm just like really mad about it. I'm just really mad. I'm walking around mad. I'm like waking up mad. I'm brushing my teeth mad. It's not even like, oh, here's like the backup center thing is the thing I can still be funny mad about because it's like, well, this is whatever. Now I'm out. I don't have it anymore. I'm just like actively furious about how often they helplessly double. It's not like when's the last time you've seen a Sixers team? They had a bunch of steals tonight. We'll talk about Melton. He had a great game. A Sixers team. Oh, yeah. Is this the Cody Zeller play? Yeah, play it, CJ. Here it is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And Maxey would have come over. I'm telling you, he wanted to come over too. That would have been 5. It was so close to 5. Look at that. There he goes. Everybody go over there. 4. Ridiculous. Insane. Unbelievable. But like, it's not like they get a ton of
like steals off a double.
Double team. They don't. Yeah. They do not do it. They're not like, it's not like Toronto where it's like Siakam and Scotty Barnes are doubling and OG Anunoby and they just get like a hand up on something and then they go the other way. They can individually like McDaniels had a couple steals on ball tonight. Melton will like pick off a passing lane or 2, but the idea of just a double comes and like they just strip the ball, it never happens. It doesn't happen. It is the most pointless thing ever. And I think there was a question that I'm straying right now, but there's a question that Steve Clifford, who's the coach of the Hornets, was asked about like offense and how and what you have to do on defense to cover it, because everybody plays the same. It's spread the floor and kick out the shooters, and everybody can shoot and be dynamic and all that stuff. And he's like, yeah, you got to do you got to really throw different looks at guys, otherwise they're going to go by people. But it's just like, there's nothing. If I'm Luka Doncic, and then he gets doubled the most in the league, I'm begging you to double me because I'm one of the best passers in the league. And I can just find the open guy so easy because the guy's wide open. It's the easiest thing to do. It's hard to like go one-on-one against a guy and hit like a step back. And they did tonight. Like they totally did that also. Luka and Kyrie were hitting everything, which like, God bless them. But like, I'd rather them take tough contested shots all night long than get to lure a double team over and kick it out to a wide open shooter who is only on the court to do exactly that. And it's just, I'm not funny mad about it anymore. I'm no longer trying to be funny. I don't have any interest in being funny. I just want to be upset. And I'm upset about this because it keeps happening and someone has to answer for it.
Yeah, very generally, I think the frustration with the first half was not in Luka and Kyrie going nuclear.
Totally.
It was the number of wide open Maxey Ksebe, Reggie Bullock threes
which got worse in the second half.
Yeah, just wide open. And look, like on some level, one causes thing two on some of, but to your point, like the Sixers, it is funny you say that. They're always just the most ineffective doubles that ever happen. They look like they're busy work doubles or something, you know? Yeah.
I'm coming to what are you guys talking about? Like, it's like, I'm coming over to just be like, we having a conversation. And it's like, you pass it behind me. I'm already gone. It's really frustrating. And especially because the the defense in that second Miami game, which you can credit to just how bad the Heat looked in that second game.
They looked really bad.
But like they were switching, they looked athletic, the Sixers. They were like not letting up easy stuff, even their stuff. It was felt like there was just fluidity and physicality to stuff. And it was a really good game of like, and in the third quarter, the early fourth quarter, like the length crew is really what got them back in it. It's with deflections and stuff.
Yeah.
With B-ball, it's McDaniels, and Shake had a couple nice deflections and just like his length causing trouble. Like those things are nice.
And George Niang, famously known for his
And George
length.
Niang, who hasn't been good lately, but
No.
and hasn't been hitting shots, but at least he still is
DMPCD.
first one of his Sixers career, which is interesting. But it was just a frustrating thing. It was in the second Miami game. It was like, wow, the things that this team is capable of when they have more switching and guys who can hold up, and it's nothing's easy. Like the Heat looked really confused there, and they are an inconsistent team, but for that to all totally go away in this game, partly because Luka and Kyrie were hitting everything, and partly because they're like, well, we'll just give you the wide open look then. It's really aggravating.
We'll talk about a big change the Sixers made tonight, right after we talk about a way for you to have a big change in your health. That's BodyBio, bodybio.com, promo code FIRECJ for 20% off any order. People ask me, is that a real promo code? Try it. It's fucking real promo code. Promo code FIRECJ for 20% off. Gut Plus is never going to get fired because Gut Plus works. Gut Plus is the only gut supplement you need. You hear about probiotics all the time. What you don't know is your body should be making its own probiotics. That's what happens. People take these supplements, these probiotic supplements that put fake probiotics in their body. It probably doesn't even work because there's thousands of strains of probiotics, and it's probably not even the right one. So what Gut Plus does is it's prebiotic, comes in, gets rid of the bad bacteria, and allows your body to produce its own probiotic. And then postbiotic gets rid of these bad symptoms. You don't want bloat. You want to be regular, all that stuff. That's what Gut Plus does. Just works. Just works.
Yeah, I had a couple days of the things were going bad before the wedding, and I had a couple days of like just anxious wedding diarrhea, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go from 1 Gut Plus to 2.
There you go.
Settled that stuff down.
There you go.
That was great.
Getting married, you want to get rid of diarrhea? Take Gut Plus.
That's right.
And I've said a million times, Elite changed. It truly changed my life. All it is electrolytes without sugar, without blah blah blah. But all the cramping I had in my feet, in my calves, in my thighs, that I had like constantly, all gone. Just taking Elite in the morning and in the evening. Very, very easy. Go to bodybio.com. Use code FIRECJ, FIRECJ, for 20% off anything in the store. Just try Gut Plus, try Elite. You will thank us later. Bodybio.com, promo code FIRECJ. Tyrese Maxey starting again. We saw Doc's second starting lineup tonight. Now, the second game against Miami didn't count because Embiid didn't play, unless that is another thing Doc was thinking, is that Embiid wouldn't start at some point. I don't know. Maybe not. But Maxey returns to the starting lineup tonight. Kyle Neubeck makes a funny point that it happens when he has to guard Kyrie Irving, which is certainly, if he's doing it strategically, certainly seems strange. And also, interestingly, tonight, Maxey had a great game. Maxey goes nuclear, not playing with any of the starters. He goes nuclear playing with Jalen McDaniels, B-Ball Paul, George Niang, and Shake Milton. The white flag lineup goes out there. But I'm glad he fought his way through all this. I still think that there will be times when, and I'm still, I guess, and I think you are too, a little skeptical about the backcourt in the playoffs defensively. And I think they're going to need Melton. I do. But I'm glad that Maxey was able to work his way through this. And I just think, we saw different rotations tonight than we've seen all season long, really. I still think, luckily, there's a lot of season left for them to figure out all of these different lineup machinations. But I'm glad he fought through it. I'm glad he's playing well again.
Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome. He's had a fire lit under his ass. He's finishing from anywhere. That lefty finish against Miami with no room, like under the basket against the Heat. The stop on the dime step back against the Heat, that was awesome. he just gets the ball up so quick with such little space. And it's a for him to be that small and he's athletic and he can dunk. Obviously, he dunked in the second Miami game, but he's not crazy athletic.
No, that's not what you think about him when you think
he's not like
about
Steve
him.
Francis athletic. He can finish against anybody all the time. He's a one-man fast break, and he's getting better at drawing fouls here and there, and he's going to keep improving, and it's not going to be linear. But man, he did some really impressive stuff tonight in the last couple of games. Truly, it doesn't matter to me who starts. Maybe it matters to them. Maybe it matters to the output of the game. But like, I think it's way down the list of like important things to the ultimate success of this team. As far as like, is Maxey happy, and do we want him to be like happy to be here and stuff? Absolutely. Then I would start him, and I think Melton is the kind of role player I love. But he'll have to eat whatever's in front of him, basically. And it was a good Melton game tonight, also. He played really well.
He's had a rough couple weeks, 2-3 weeks,
and he's been like sort of benched in the not second half, but like not played, not in that. There's that. There aren't 3 starting lineups, but there are kind of 3 closing lineups, and it's like either PJ. It's the 3 options of around Maxey, Embiid, and Tobias, and it's 2 of Harden, Tobias, and Embiid, and it's 2 of Maxey and Melton and PJ. And so those are the options. But yeah, Melton tonight was good. He hasn't been as good offensively, but he looked fast. He looked decisive. I thought he played really impressive defense on Kyrie and even Luka also, but they were just hitting fucking crazy shots. And so like, they're dickheads, but they can do that. And a couple really gutsy, physical, tough steals. He had 5 steals in this game total. That was huge. I love him. I'm happy to see him play well because he hasn't been that good lately.
CJ, can we watch the B-ball Paul jumper? So the situation here, if you're watching on YouTube,
Shoots 40% from 3 in the G League. This shouldn't be surprising.
So what happens is, here, we'll pause it for a second. Pause it. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to watch it again. The situation here is that the Sixers are making this run, and there's a play in which there's a fight for the ball on the ground, and the Mavericks get the ball for a second, so the shot clock resets, and it is the Sixers are inbounding the ball from underneath the Mavericks basket, and they inbound it to Paul Reed. Can we see it? Boom. So there's 20 seconds left on the shot clock.
Didn't need the other 20. He hit a couple shots in the Miami game too, man. He hit a couple baseline shots.
Did he think the shot clock didn't reset there, or like?
I mean, I think he thinks it's an open look, and I'm feeling good. And he hasn't missed a jumper in his last like 3 jumpers. I think take him. I think he is the stretch 5 I've been looking for 47 years.
We saw a comment on Twitch. There's a new easy money sniper.
There you go.
He's
there it is.
becoming KD. I love this jumper so much. He had a great game against Miami. It's great that fucking Doc Rivers said he had a great game. Yep. Doc Rivers joins the victory tour. I thought he had a rough first half tonight. So rough that we saw the ghost of Montrezl Harrell for 3 minutes.
Why is Trez even wearing a jersey at this point? You shouldn't be like, the equipment manager shouldn't like provide Trez with a jersey so Doc can't go to him, because like the day after B-Ball Paul plays the best game of his life and wins them this game, he was a plus 9,000 in the game. He was awesome. Paul gets 3 fouls, and they weren't like bad fouls. They were like regular, like could have gone either way fouls, and I was annoyed by some of them.
Well, the one on the 3 wasn't even a foul, I don't think. And then the one by the rim was like on wood. Yeah, was like. The
refs just love calling fouls. They love it. It's their favorite thing. They're absolutely thrilled to do it. And then Doc takes him out, and it's like, if you take him out because you think he's fouling too much, you think that he is unnecessarily fouling, you think he needs to like just take a second and think about what he's done, basically. Okay, that's coaching. But like, he's your backup center, and you're willingly restricting his minutes when you only need him to play 10. It's a baffling decision. Even if B-Ball Paul fouls out, then he fouls out. And you put Trez in then. Like, you don't have to be monitoring your backup center's foul calls. It was a stunning, like, Doc just loves, he's like, well, 3 fouls, taking him out. Like,
I
he
think
just
he's
does.
mad at him.
He might be mad at him, but they weren't
Yeah.
bad fouls. There's times when B-Ball Paul does foul poorly and just is like reaching unnecessarily or something, and he's got to get that under control. But I didn't think it was going to happen, but I thought it was a possibility that, you know, Trez wasn't dressed in the last game. He was behind. Him and Dedmon were sitting next to Embiid, and they were all just in like street clothes. And I was like, what if we just never see Trez in a Sixers uniform again? This would be so great. And here he fucking comes the next goddamn day just to fuck with me. And it was aggravating. I didn't like it at all.
Email from Rob in LA to writesRickySanchez@gmail.com says, is it crazy to suggest that B-Ball Paul was the best player on the floor against the Heat on Wednesday?
No.
He ignited the big run in the second quarter with his offensive rebounding and shutdown defense. Hero tried to punish him several times, couldn't shake him. He stoned both Butler and Bam in the post and even ran out hard to challenge a Vincent 3. Doc even gave him a high five going into a timeout in the fourth quarter. Does that mean he's a Doc guy now? Can Doc be invited to the victory tour?
No.
Yeah.
No. Doc hates him so much, man. He hates him so much, and he resents it. He resents when he plays well, which so do I when Trez, the like 1.5 games that Trez has played well, like I resent him for it. Like, this isn't who you are anymore. Stop pretending. But the difference is that Doc is wrong and I'm right. And it's a total joke that he's ever been considered. Paul was so good in that Miami game. He was excellent. He used his length. He stayed on the floor and just trusted his instincts. He got a ton of deflections. His rebounding hit a career high in rebounds that game. He was all over the place. This team is a bad rebounding team. And so when Embiid is not playing and you go to PJ Tucker, you replace Embiid with Tyrese Maxey on the floor, you're not going to get better at rebounding. You're going to get worse. They need to play B-Ball Paul. They can play him with PJ Tucker. That's totally fine. That really should be the case in the playoffs when Embiid sits, that it's both of them out there to have some size and shooting and intelligence and length and athleticism, all that stuff. Like, but the energy and the instincts that B-Ball Paul brings is actively positive to this team, and they need him to be good. And I'm glad, Dockery, that you're not doing this in mid-April in the first round of the playoffs. You should be doing this. Should have been doing this all season long, but we are in a rhythm of B-Ball Paul as the backup center. Daryl came on this podcast and said B-Ball Paul is one of the options at backup center. Like, it's against teams that you can switch with, fine, but like you can switch with B-Ball Paul. That's the thing, is like you can switch with PJ and B-Ball Paul, and they're better when that happens because they need some life, some athleticism. It can't just be PJ and Tobias protecting the rim. They're not good enough at it. They're not.
When Daryl came on the podcast and named the 3 options for backup center as B-Ball Paul, Dwayne Dedmon, who is yet to play for the Sixers. Has
he worn the jersey yet?
I have not. I don't think so. No, he hasn't dressed. And PJ Tucker, I thought he was like trying to get Trez to leave, like sort of like sneaky, trying to get him to be like, hey man, you're not even on the team anymore. You don't have to come. You don't have to show up.
I think that is what he feels now. Just hoping Trez listens to the podcast. Trez in the chat being like, what the fuck? What's going on? I'm one of those guys. No, it needs to be B-Ball Paul. I wouldn't mind. I would say nobody feels like a Dwayne Dedmon guy, but on the list, I'm more of the like, if he's willing to be a pick and pop guy, pick and pop plus being a good defensive rebounder, I would be willing to like see it if Paul is not playing well in any given stretch.
He's the Paul Millsap this year. He's like the Paul Millsap.
Well, Paul Millsap played
he did
too much,
yeah.
but I would at least see what Dedmon can do, because he really is a good rebounder and has always been a good defensive rebounder, and that is something that this team genuinely struggles with.
Speaking of B-Ball Paul, so Live Ricky 5, you weren't here on the pod after. It was Derek. Live Ricky 5 sold out in like 5 minutes. It was the quickest sellout in Underground Arts history. Crazy. They told us, which is awesome.
Wait,
So-
was it really the quickest sellout
Yes.
in underground? That's
That's
wild.
what Rich said. Yeah. CJ was you were on the email chain, right? Where he saw it. CJ was on the email chain where he saw it.
CJ
Yeah.
couldn't get a ticket.
Could
He's out.
not get a ticket. Won't be there. We'll have to
Yeah.
measure him a different time.
Yeah, you can text us any like thoughts or anything you have, Siege.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, won't be able to be there.
But the good news for anyone who didn't get a ticket is thanks to our friends at MortgageCS, we will be won't be airing it live because we want to take it home, produce it, and probably right before the first round or on an off night in the first round, we will, thanks to MortgageCS, we'll be premiering Live Ricky 5 on YouTube, where you'll be able to see everything that happened. You'll be able to see CJ's height. You'll be able to see whoever we induct into the Process Hall of Fame, which is still to be determined.
Is it though?
We have to have a talk. I decided on the topic of my poem, if there are any special guests, on and so forth. So thank you to MortgageCS. MortgageCS, CS stands for Concierge Service. MortgageCS. We love I bet you didn't know that, did you? CJ and I were talking to Ben and Alec the other day from MortgageCS, and Ben said that he actually does get text messages when I tell people to text him during the pod. So Ben, the CEO, his cell number is 267-391-7425. Text him, see if he answers. You can call if you want to. It is his cell. The reason I love MortgageCS, they're a mortgage broker. And what a broker does, they don't give you the money. They go and they get the money for you. They go to all the different banks. And the reason I love MortgageCS is their primary responsibility is you. Like, they want to get you the best rate. And I know other mortgage brokers say that, but other mortgage brokers have specific deals with specific banks, and they may be leading you in a way that benefits them a little more than it might benefit you. But that is not MortgageCS. So I like them because they're independent. I like them because they're responsive, right? Like, when you need them on a Saturday night, you need them early on a Wednesday morning, you need a pre-qualification letter, you need advice, whatever it is, they're there whenever you need them. And the other reason I love them is that they are invested in making sure you know what's going on. Like, it is getting a mortgage is a very strange process. And you work with mortgage brokers, and they're always working on 700 deals at once, and it feels like they don't have time for you, but MortgageCS always has time for you. And every one of our listeners who has worked with them has said the same thing. Oh, everything you said about MortgageCS was correct. MortgageCS.com/Ricky, MortgageCS.com/Ricky, or call or text Ben at 267-391-7425. Thank you also to MortgageCS for making it possible for us to produce Live Ricky 5, the video version. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. MortgageCS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS 1464766. Visit MortgageCS.com/Ricky for more information. Can we move to the James Harden rumors? Or
I have some Harden thoughts, but I can package them into this thing.
Okay. So on Christmas, as the Sixers were playing in a prime game, Adrian Wojnarowski reported that James Harden might want to go back to the Houston Rockets. The news was there for a few days, and then it went away. And then Sam Amick, I think that's who wrote this for The Athletic, writes the following. The deal to Brooklyn that finally went down on January 13th, 2021 was already done, with Harden heading to the Nets in a blockbuster involving 4 teams, 3 first-round picks, 4 first-round pick swaps, and players. But Rockets owner Toman Fertitta, whose unabashed love of all things Harden was no secret during their 3.5 years contending for titles together, and had a message to share with a soon-to-be former franchise centerpiece on his way out the door. Quote, "You're always welcome back here," he told them in so many words during a goodbye phone call between the two. But more than 2 years later, with Harden focused on his championship pursuits with the Sixers these days, and speculation over what he'll do in free agency already in full swing, the more important part about that final Rockets conversation was what came next. Harden, sources with knowledge of the situation say, made it abundantly clear that the feeling was mutual. There were no promises made that day on either side, but everyone who was part of those final Harden days in Houston knew there were strong indications he'd be back, specifically in the summer of 2023. My favorite line here: where does he want his next hoop chapter to be, and what factors will matter most when the time comes to decide? Even Harden himself may not know at this point. So my theory on this is, like, everybody's trying to make something out of the James Harden free agency, and I don't even think it's really a thing. I feel like, and especially because Keith Pompey has been writing the shit out of this stuff. I just feel like this is coming from Harden's area just so the Sixers give him as much money as he wants. I certainly believe that Harden would love to live in Houston again, because I think he loves, running the town or wherever it is. He knows where everything is, it's like it's where he got drafted by Oklahoma City, but he became a star in Houston. And I'm sure wherever he goes, never pays for a meal, is fucking great. Not that much. Nobody gives a fuck in the entire city. So about the basketball team, I'm sure it's amazing. But like, he just wants to get the full contract here. And I'm sure it is going to be a stressful situation around here, because I'm sure James Harden is like, well, we ain't getting out of the second round. And like, it's going to be a weird thing, and he's going to get the whole contract here. But my opinion is that's all that's going on here. Even though this may be sort of real, like, why is it being written? My theory is always like, who wants this written? Sure. The only person that would, the Rockets don't care if this gets written. It doesn't matter to them. It matters to Harden. So that's They
might care. They're a real shit show right now. So like, to generate some, like, we're going to be trying soon. Sure. So like, that kind of thing. I wouldn't rule that out. But yeah, it feels like some level of negotiating to get Harden as much money as possible. And yeah, I mean, look,
he's playing well.
He's playing really well. Offensively, he is having the best shooting season of his career. He is conducting the court and running the offense in a way that really gets a lot of easy looks. Frustratingly, he's been sloppy with the ball lately. He had 6 turnovers.
The stretch tonight, it was like he didn't give a fuck almost.
Yeah, he had 6 turnovers on just like, bullshit, basically, just like handing the ball away. And the defense really is one of the most frustrating things ever. Like, that's why, like, if you're doing switch everything, then Harden doesn't have to think. He's just like, I'm covering the guy in front of me. That's great. I can give the amount of effort I'm ready to give based on who it is, and that's fine. If you put Harden in some sort of like read the defense, focus on your guy, communicate stuff, he's gonna fall asleep. He's gonna ball watch, and he's gonna give up wide open threes. He's not quick enough to like recover on stuff. But his offense has been great for almost, entirely shooting about 40% from threes, 5 of 7 tonight from deep. He's got a lot of great lift on his step back. He is shooting, we've talked about this before, but he is shooting more catch and shoot threes than ever. It's not as much as I would like, but you're not going to go from 0 to 60. It is like he is doing it sometimes. And I think the team is obviously right now way better when he's there, and better when he's playing at the level he's playing at. I have no idea how long that's going to last.
And he's playing for a deal right now. I mean, that's not everything, but also not nothing,
Yeah. And I think I don't know. You get everybody in the NBA wants to fucking win. And I'm sure he cares like at how, considering where his place is on the all-time best players ever list, he cares about the fact that he has not had as much postseason success. As we've said all season, like, there are 4 guys that really have a lot to prove this year, and there's no way to prove it until it's the playoffs and they get to the next level, and that's obviously Harden, Embiid, Doc, and Daryl. They just need to be. They're a really good team. I wasn't that frustrated by the Boston. I didn't watch it live. The Tatum did beat the Sixers on the 3, and then Embiid's shot was a little bit late on while I was being lifted in a chair during the hora at my wedding. So
that is appropriate.
Yeah. People were watching it on their phones, and they were like talking to me about it. I was like, legitimately, don't tell me. Please stay away. But yeah, I mean, like, they're in the same those games. There were some frustrating things in those games for sure, but like in the same way that in games that they win by a little bit that they should have won by more, like those coin toss games against those teams, they don't in the regular season, they just don't bother me that much. There's a lot to work on in wins, and there's a lot to work on in losses, and they're going to beat the 3 seed. And so I'm glad that this team is right now. Doc is at least trying shit. Like, we can talk about the like Niang house or shake thing, but like this team right now is very good, and they just need to perform at the height of their abilities in the playoffs. And that's on Harden to like give me a little bit more effort on defense and lock in. and give me a little bit less like throwing the ball away, because every Harden turnover results in, or Harden turnover or Harden like failed foul grifting results in a fast break for the other team. Every single one. And so I just need a level of attentiveness and paying attention that at least gives them a chance to compete against anybody, because they really are so good when they want to be.
When they're good.
When they're good, they're so good, and when they're bad, they're truly horrendous in ways that can't adequately be expressed by words.
I don't know how to express my emotion, because I think, so if they're the 3 seed, it means they play either Boston or Milwaukee in the second round.
Yeah, and Milwaukee just hasn't lost in like
they've won 16 in a row, I think.
Yeah. And that's with Chris Middleton still playing like 21 minutes a game. Like he's not ramped up yet.
Yeah, and there's just simply, I don't know how to process the emotion of like, there's just simply no way they're going to beat either of those teams unless somebody is injured. There's just no way.
I don't think that that's correct. I think they're not going to be favored in either of those matchups, but I think that
I'd give them a better shot against Boston, because I could see a world in which Boston goes cold for 4 of 7 games or something.
I have a harder time with Boston. The Sixers they just never fucking beat those dickheads. They just never do. And it's not a rivalry because we lose every time. I hate it. I wish it was. I wish it, but like they just can't. It's fucking Al Horford being left wide open for 3 over and over and over again. It kills me. It kills me. I love Derek White, and they fucking passed on Derek White in the draft. Like it just just things that are just brutalizing me. And I want to see a Milwaukee series just because it's different. I hope that it's a 2-3 Sixers Bucks, and if they lose, you go like, it's Giannis. That happens. Good series, fought him, whatever it is. They need to advance, but I would at least like to see it, because it would be an interesting series on a basketball level, and I do think that it's a relatively even matchup.
Before we get to the Spotify question of the pod and the mailbag, I have a little PSA here, because I was thinking about this as we were about to do the pod. I mentioned last Wednesday, or whenever we did the pod, Tuesday, that it was my last drink until Live Ricky 5, that I was giving up alcohol for Lent. I sort of like made a joke out of it. But the truth was, I started like, I'm not a big drinker, but I started having a drink every time we would do the pod at night, because I was tired and it would make me less like cranky. And then I started noticing I was having a drink like every single night, which is not a lot of alcohol, but like every single night is a lot. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing, I have a very low threshold for when I feel like I'm getting addicted to something. Like I get worried. I get constantly nervous about it. And here I am like 8 days later, or whatever it is. And I feel like when I run in the morning, I feel fucking like great now, and I sleep better and all that kind of stuff. And I realized like I had a little bit of a, like, not problem, but a little bit one. And I think about, we have, DraftKings as a sponsor and Stateside as a sponsor, and people have mentioned it to me before. It's like, alcoholism and problem gambling and all that kind of stuff. And you can do those things 100% within your, have fun with both of them. Drinking, of course, gambling, of course, you can do them and have fun, and they cannot affect your life negatively at all. But I would urge you from the bottom of my heart, if you do have a problem with any of those things, reach out to somebody who can get you help for them. Because like I could not imagine feeling what my body feels like now compared to last week. I can't even imagine if you were really fucked up on like a true alcoholic, what it feels like and does to your body. And the same thing with betting. So I was thinking about it today as I like woke up today normally and felt fine. That if you're going through any of those things, please reach out to somebody who can get you help. There are plenty of places, somebody close to you, helplines, all that kind of stuff.
And I'm going to take the opposite opinion. No, I'm kidding. It's a podcast. You need differing opinions.
Yeah. Yeah. You've always been known as the contrarian. So
yes, big time.
The Spotify question of the pod, you can answer it right under the pod, right under there. So this one came out. This was from the pod that I did with Derek after the Celtics loss. The question was, are you sounding the alarm with the Celtics loss? St. Christian Aldrin says, we almost beat them, so I'm playing the song. You crack me up. BT Norton says, yes, the Sixers are overweight and slow. The Celtics are athletic and fast.
They really are. Like, you look at everyone in the Celtics rotation can, like, just they're big and strong and can run and jump, and it just feels like the Sixers. There's like a couple guys that can do that, and like, oh, those guys are in now. We have a shot at a rebound. Jalen McDaniels has had I would say a mixed bag. There's still like a freshness to Jalen.
Yeah.
He has missed like 18 dunks.
Well, and he had 4 fouls in 2.5 minutes tonight,
which was pretty cool. The first 2 fouls were really stupid, but the second 2 weren't. And then I was just like, great, just foul out in a minute and a half. That sounds fun. He does, like, there's an energy to him and like a cutting and like he can cut and do something with it in a way that is nice. And I think he's still getting his legs under him on this team. He's really like, Doc plays him a lot. He's like arguably the 7th man on this team right now.
Yeah. You've been staring at George Niang for 2 years. You look at Jalen McDaniels, you feel like you've been like put into, like, you see a superhuman or something. Like, it looks like Terminator 2 compared to George Niang.
He's so skinny, dude.
Yeah.
His legs there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's been pretty good. He missed a couple big shots the last few games. I missed one in the first Miami game, missed a couple straight away tonight. Like, he's not a good enough shooter. Needs to, obviously better than Matisse is a shooter, even though Matisse has hit some shots. McDaniels is a more skilled offensive player. We don't have to compare him for the rest of their careers or anything, but like, he just himself individually needs to get better at shooting and needs to a little more confidence driving the ball. But the bench minutes right now, like, you look around and you're like, what's it going to be? I think it's nice to see, and a little frustrating in the moment, but I think they have a really tough schedule. These playing 2 road back-to-backs in like 6 days is wild. But these are like playoff level intensity games. And so you're getting a feel, and the coaching staff's getting a feel of which guys are going to be able to hang and can do some stuff. And Shake wasn't in the rotation tonight until the second half. Daniel House has been in the rotation for 2 straight games, but then barely played tonight. Niang was out of it last night, hasn't hit a 3 in a few weeks. Finding what it's going to be, finding what like 8 or 9 guys are going to be. This is what they should be doing. It's frustrating that they don't have like the absolute answer, but it's the same deal of like, why'd they cut Isaiah Joe? Arguably it was really bad roster management because they cut him for nothing. And if they knew that he wasn't going to make it, it would have been nice to like showcase him a little bit, but it didn't happen. And now he's playing like major minutes on the Thunder. But like, there's not, all these guys are about the same, right? They've had like 6 9th men on this team. They have like 6 playable guys and then like a bunch of like 9th men. And they're hoping those 9th men can become like 6th, 7th, 8th and like be workable. But somebody's got to step up and somebody's got to be consistent and hit shots, really. That's what you need him to do.
Yeah. Well, especially George Niang needs to hit shots because if he's not hitting shots, he can't play. He probably can't play anyway. Adam Kasabi is the official realtor of the process. We mentioned MortgageCS earlier for your mortgage, but to find you a house, you got to go with Ksebe. You need a real realtor. Real realtor. That's his catchphrase that I just came up with him for. Adam Ksebe, Ksebe. Every summer, people go through this process where they go and I fucking do it, rent a home down the shore, right? You spend thousands of dollars to rent a home down the shore. What you got to do is go to Kasabi, get your own beach house, the Delaware beaches. You rent it out most of the year, but then the weeks that you want to go, you have it for yourself. When you rent it out, it's paying your mortgage for you. Adam Kasabi is the guy that can find your Delaware beach house. He is the king of the Delaware beaches, the real realtor. That's what it says about him on his billboard. That's his catchphrase. The king of the Delaware beaches, the real realtor. Because Adam Kasabi and his team are based out of Long and Foster in Bethany Beach. They cover all of Delaware and all of Maryland, but the Delaware beaches, Lewis, Rehoboth, Bethany, Dewey, they are his specialty. And the Delaware Beach is cheaper. The homes are cheaper than Jersey, and you're going to pay less in property taxes as well. And you have a hookup. Adam Ksebe, Ksebe. Give him a call or shoot him an email. 302-864-8643, 302-864-8643, or adam@processrealtor.com. That's adam@processrealtor.com. And if you're looking for a home or looking to sell a home in PA, Jersey, New York, any state other than Delaware or Maryland, he can't do it for you. But here's the good news. He can find a realtor for you. He interviews realtors to find the best one. That's what he did for me, and it's what I'll do for you. And he's done it for a ton of Ricky listeners. 302-864-8643. That is Adam Kasabi, the official realtor of The Process. The mailbag writes to RickySanchez@gmail.com. This comes from Tim. Hi, Spike and Mike. Why did Mike not podcast from his wedding? Was the discussion with Alyssa broached? It felt only natural to do such a thing. Congratulations.
It wasn't brought up. It was the first blizzard in Southern California history.
Oh, yeah. I saw the warnings.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And so there were a few days there. By Wednesday, Alyssa was like, should we cancel the wedding? Which, by the way, was the same, similar to the should we forfeit when we were playing 4-on-5. And we didn't. Right. And we won the wedding just as much. It ended up being fine. And everybody got there. But like me playing air traffic controller, like telling people how to get up there. It was wild. The power went out Friday afternoon in the whole area for an hour and a half. And I was like originally hanging out with my family, and then I was like, I gotta go like lay in bed and just like stare at the ceiling because it was a whole. We'll do a wedding party. The venue was hell for a while. It was crazy. It was it was an exhausting situation, but the wedding itself was beautiful and great, except for the Sixers losing during the horror. But yeah, it would have been a very anxious podcast.
Non-basketball. I remember when we got married, Val started looking at the weather like 25 days out.
Yep. We've been looking, we looked at the weather for literally 30 days. It was all of it. The whole thing we were looking at it. We're like, it's raining, but it's not gonna be raining the whole time. And it was raining every day. It was like, it's still raining. It's 100%. Oh, now it's a thunderstorm. Now it's going to be thundering. Now it's going to be snowing in Southern California. That was really, it wasn't great for a while, to be honest. But we're good. But it was good. And it was great. And it was fun. It was a blast.
Non-basketball question. When emailers address CJ in their introduction, does it make you mad? I haven't heard a good CJ take all season just about. I would like him to throw a hot take once a week if possible.
Wow. Haven't heard a good CJ take all season.
I know it's the truth. I haven't heard a good CJ take all season.
He loves looking at his own blood.
Yeah,
heard that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a take, but it's something for sure. 833.
He's thinking one up in the dark that I can see.
833 Lickface is the phone number. 833 Lickface.
Wanna be on the Paul Reed Victory Tour? I am on the Paul Reed Victory Tour. I have been for a while. I went and saw him play for the Blue Coats, but I'm also obviously pro PJ, and I know there's a universe in which both can be true. I think it'll often be matchup specific. Who's the backup five? Paul Reed's jumper's looking really nice. Maybe some Paul Reed at the 4. I know that Spike also occupies these two worlds, and I just need someone to like articulate this position of we're pro PJ and we're on the Paul Reed Victory Tour.
I think there's minutes for both of them. I think the PJ at center thing is a particular thing when you need to throw. Like they've used it at specific times, I think, right? Like when you need to throw a lunatic at the other guy's center, I think that's when he'll be good. And, for all of Paul Reed's jumpers, PJ, I know you get frustrated, he only shoots from the corners, but he's a real shooter and Paul is not.
He really does only shoot from the corners.
I know, but it's something.
It's frustrating. I don't.
You can play 5 out with PJ. You can't with Paul.
You should be able to. Doc should let him be a shooter. He shoots 40% from 3 in the G League. I believe in it. I love it. I want him to keep doing it. Yeah, I think that the best version of holding up defensively in the non-Embiid minutes is a switch everything lineup with PJ and B-ball and probably Jalen McDaniels and Harden and Melton. Like that's probably your play. And you could throw Tobias in there for somebody. You can mix that in, whatever. But like the kinds of, here are everybody that can kind of switch everything and at least make it hard on the other team. And you're not sending a bunch of guys at Cody Zeller rolling to the rim, and you're not like playing drop coverage and letting, pick anybody, Drew Holiday walk into a three. Like you're just switching everything, and Embiid's not in there. Like get out and run and hope for, long rebounds and keep it moving. Like that, I think there's ways to do that. B-Ball Paul really is a very good rebounder, an intuitive rebounder on both ends. And you also need PJ just to, at least be willing to stand in the corner and shoot when he's wide open. And he does get those 50-50 balls. Like all the problems with the Sixers, all of them, to me, are on defense, which shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case that a Joel Embiid team has problems on defense. And maybe in the playoffs it won't be as much. But I believe in this team as a top 5 offense way more than I believe in this team as a top 5 defense. Because they don't get back in transition, although Embiid had a nice breakup in transition tonight. They do a bad job fighting around screens. They obviously overhelp, which I talked about at length in the Cody Zeller piece, part of this podcast. They don't get defensive rebounds, and they don't get 50-50 balls. There's a couple guys that start to, but like there's just those kinds of things that have been the issue for a while now. And so those are the things that I'm mostly worried about. I think offensively, you got Harden and Embiid. I wish they would. I mean, like in this game, what is the 3 disparity in this game without looking? What would you guess? Who attempted threes, Sixers, Mavs?
I would say the Mavs probably attempted 45.
48, very close.
Okay.
And they made 25 of them. They were 52% from 3, 25 for 48.
That's not a bad guess. And then the Sixers maybe shot 37?
27. They were 12 of 27 from 3.
Yeah.
So even though the Sixers shot 44% from 3 and the Mavs shot 52%, it didn't shoot enough. Like I get why people are like, why people do it's too many threes, and I get aesthetically that it's not as interesting. I think sometimes it gets tiresome. But like if you shoot 44% from 3 and you're still the deficit is 25-12, that is a 13 doing math, 39-point deficit on 3-pointers. Like it's tough to win those games. Like you can't give up that many threes, and you can't take that few. And that is a problem. I'd rather do the stuff that you just hope that Kawhi, as an example of that kind of series, gets tired over the course of the series, and you can win enough of them playing one-on-one. And I just think that coaching staffs in general are reluctant to go there because it feels like they should help, and it feels like teams should help. But this team is not equipped to recover, and they still defend like they think that they are, and they're not.
This email is from Dan, writes Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Dear Spike, Mike, and CJ, it's weird to think that even though they're the 3 seed in the East and the 4th best team record-wise in the NBA, that we've all basically checked out on the team. I've been to almost 10 games this season. I've only walked away positively from 2 of them, Embiid's 59 and the Grizzlies last Thursday. It's still the same thing every game, blown leads, letting up too many offensive rebounds, lazy passes, and poor late-game play calling. The energy in the arena matches the team. People show up late and leave early, and it's so quiet compared to previous years. It's really disappointing when you look at the buildings across the street and think that about how their owners have committed to winning with their star players, and both have made championship games recently. Every Sixers problem has stemmed from ownership making the shiny decision and not the right decision. As they lose to the Heat, they're showing DeMar Hamlin sitting courtside with Josh Harris for no apparent reason.
Oh, I didn't recognize. I must have watched it, and they probably said I didn't recognize who it was, and I was like,
yeah.
What am I supposed to derive from this? And why was he there? What's going on?
When are they finally? Well, because when are they finally going to take championship aspirations seriously? It's a funny email. A lot of it I agree with. Some of it is a little dramatic.
I mean, it's very dramatic. Both the Eagles and the Phillies were not championship level teams until they were.
Sure, and the Phillies, like the Eagles, were the best team in the NFL for most of the year.
Yeah, but the Phillies, so were the Sixers a couple years ago.
Sure. I'm just saying, like the Phillies, like I wouldn't go crowning them for doing the right thing.
No.
like they made the playoffs by like one game. You know,
Yeah, it was a
like,
crazy run, and it was a
Yeah.
beautiful run, and I love it, and I will treasure that.
a lot of fun, but like I wouldn't go now. Middleton, he did all the right things. Like I don't know that that's the case. So
It seems like from year to year he has. I mean, at least paying. It's a different sport.
He's
And the salary
trying.
cap is a different situation. Yeah.
he's definitely trying. I don't think the Sixers are particularly cheap. I do think the idea of making the flashy decision and not the right one is probably true. So non-basketball question. What is the worst meal of the day? As someone who eats breakfast every day, it has to be lunch for me. I never know what to have. I want to eat something light, and then I'm hungry an hour later. If I have something heavy, I'm running the chance of blowing up the work bathroom. Thanks for all you do. Don't forget to wash your hair.
I think that's a great take. I think it's probably lunch.
So I don't eat breakfast anymore after being a breakfast guy for a long time. My friend Alex talked me into intermittent fasting, and now I go from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. I like a great dinner, but when I don't know what I had to have for dinner, I hate dinner. I can always get a fucking salad for lunch. I bring my lunch. So I guess
think there's a limited amount of like lunch is always
lunch.
like it's sandwich or salad pretty much.
Yep.
And it's like that's a limited level of options.
Yeah.
And you're either lacking in the salad or you're like, I shouldn't have had that sandwich. Like I feel bloated. Like it feels like they're more often than any other meal left a little bit feeling wrong.
Yes. I hate getting something really good for lunch at work because then I smell like it and I feel it the rest of the day. 833 Lickface is the phone number.
Hey there, Spike, Mike, and Christian James. It's Kyle from New York. I was originally drawn to the pod for the Sixers content, but as of late, find myself questioning everything I know about personal hygiene. How often do you guys wash your face? Thanks.
Wash your face
twice a day.
Okay. What, like in the morning and then in the shower or something? Is that or?
Yeah, morning and night. I usually shower in the mornings, so I'll wash before bed.
I don't wash before bed. I only do it in the shower. But I did. So obviously, I've been railing against big shampoo and big conditioner, but I have like another toiletry problem that I feel like is a ripoff, and it's probably going to cost us a sponsor at some point. But so I was a Dollar Shave Club guy for a while. No slander on that company, fine company. And then I was a Harry's guy. And the gym I go to, they have like razors and shaving cream there, whatever. But they're like the regular single-use razors and regular shaving cream, not like the shave lotion that I've been using forever. I forgot my razor and my shave lotion, so I took the regular single blade and the Barbasol shaving cream. And I got news for you, Mike. It's fucking fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fucking fine. First big shampoo and now big shave.
Oh, CJ popping up for his take of the year.
I got a big take on this.
Okay.
you got to get the safety razor with the single blades. You buy them in like 100-pack, and you have them for like 5 years, and it's affordable. They were doing it in like the 1800s.
Yeah,
and it works. It's perfect.
What were they doing in the 1800s?
Shaving, like the old style safety razor blade.
Oh wait, you use like the blade?
Yeah.
No. I need a handle.
I need to see a video of CJ shaving now. This is going to happen at the live podcast.
He's got the hot shave cream for himself.
Yeah, with the brush.
With the brush thing. Okay, we're gonna. CJ's gonna shave his face at the live podcast. This is
one of these guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You
with
can
the handle.
You can replace the blade, but you buy the blades in like 100-pack, and then you're set for life.
I think I have one of those some of those from Harry's. My dad will just still send out razor blades. He just loves it.
I fucking canceled my Harry's thing. Like, no offense, again, it's a good company, but like, I started thinking to myself, like, it has 4 blades on it. The fuck do I need 4 blades for? Like, it's just hair. The first blade cuts it.
What if like a fork had, like, it has 4 forks, 4 separate forks all over it. And it's kind of like, I just need the regular.
That's just crazy.
Can I tell you a fantasy basketball thing?
Yeah.
In the fantasy basketball league that you used to be in.
Today's
the day of the trade deadline.
That I won.
I'm gearing up. I'm going all in this year.
Okay.
And which means I'm tanking very hard next year. So I'm trading everything. Everything must go. And so I made a big deal, a bunch of big deals. And my team is like loaded up. And then a bunch of injuries happen. I've had Zion. He's been hurt. I've had Steph. He's been hurt. and then LeBron goes down, and I just can't wait for it because the playoffs happening. And so today I traded LeBron for, because I have nothing else to trade, so I'm just trading him like in case someone wants to keep him.
Okay.
And his salary is expensive, and it's a very complicated league, so not worth explaining. But I traded LeBron for Markelle Fultz.
Oh my God! You traded LeBron for Markelle Fultz?
I traded LeBron James for Markelle Fultz because even if
Are
he
you
comes
allowed
back
to
in
say
3
who you
weeks,
traded him to?
Miles.
Okay.
If you remember Miles.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, it's just my Miles is tanking, and it's just like I can't wait. The playoffs start next week, or I need to get a bye. I play legs next week. I need to get that bye so I can have another week for my guys to rest up. And so I was like, I just can't wait for LeBron to maybe come back in the second round of the playoffs. And so I was like, who's the best guy I can get for essentially the potential of keeping LeBron? And it's Markelle Fultz. It's not so good. Things aren't looking up for me.
Do you have a chance of winning the league?
I definitely did. My team's pretty good, still, but I'll have to be very. I'll need the bye for sure, and I'm in the mix for it. There's the rest of this week and the next week, and then we'll see. John Gonzalez obviously has the first spot, and everybody's trying to take John down. Nobody wants John to win.
Well, we will talk to you next time. We have some new performances, I guess, to announce for Live Ricky 5. There's been some additions, Mike, while you were gone. So we'll announce those in the coming weeks. I think on Sunday we will announce our merch. We will have 2 T-shirts available, but one from a new person, and then one from one of our current people, which is very exciting. So that's coming up, and hopefully the Sixers. So we have Milwaukee on Saturday night, right?
Great. Just play everybody hard. Just everybody hard. No easy games, please, God.
All at once.
Milwaukee, then guess what? Another back-to-back. Sounds good.
Who's after Milwaukee?
At Pacers, at Wolves.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, they should. Those teams aren't.
It's just tough to do back-to-backs, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to travel. They didn't get into Dallas until like 2 a.m. last night. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Sleep matters. And
basketball players don't go to sleep that early, though, right? I mean, not that 2's early, but I mean,
I would love to be told when to sleep. I would love to be told, here's what you're eating, here's your personal chef.
Yeah.
Here's we're checking your vitals all the time. I would just be like, just carry me essentially like I'm a baby, or like getting passed up by a crowd in the concert, and just be like, everybody, we got you. Everybody do everything, and I'll just like be in peak athletic condition. A very athletic baby is what I want to be, I think. Is
you want to be an athletic baby in peak condition getting passed around by strangers at a concert.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's essentially what I want to be. Yeah.
We'll talk to you next time. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah. Lick face.